Greetings and welcome, people. What an absolutely beautiful day. Saw in the forecast that it was going to be a beautiful day today, so I decided I was definitely going to come out for a ride. And I'd also decided that was all I was going to do. I was just going to come out for a ride and not worry about making a vlog or doing anything like that. Just have the dash cam system on the bike, look out for recording stuff. But then yesterday I watched Spicy 110's latest vlog. And it was quite interesting because it harks back to something that I've been get some fresh air. I've been aware of for some years, something I can't remember now whether it's something I read or heard or something some years back. Now, Spicy 110's vlog, which I'll link in the description below if I can. I think I should be able to, as it's another YouTube video, is entitled, or I shall paraphrase the title, which basically is wondering whether our government is trying to shadow ban motorcycles by basically making it progressively more and more difficult and less enjoyable to get into motorcycling and to participate in the activity of motorcycling. Doing things like making motorcycle testing and more rigorous, making training more expensive, all sorts of things that they're doing to basically discourage people from getting into riding motorcycles. And he's sort of suggesting that maybe he didn't want to use the term conspiracy theorist. Maybe that's not what's actually happening. It's not some kind of behind the scenes plan by the government to perform a certain amount of social engineering. I mean, come on, would the government do that? You tell me. But the thing is, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. Now, it reminded me of this thing that I've previously mentioned that I was aware of, and you can look it up for yourself as well. I'll try and put some links in the description below if I can. I know YouTube is a bit funny about people putting links in descriptions for stuff outside of YouTube, but I'll put it in if I can. But there is a movement called Vision Zero. Now, this exists. It is a real thing. It's not just something I've made up. And it has been around for 15 years, 10 to 15 years. And basically, the underlying principle and tenet of this organisation, this movement, is that any fatalities or serious injuries on the roads are unacceptable and avoidable. Basically, the zero in Vision Zero means zero deaths or injuries relating to the roads, to traffic on the roads. Now, you probably wouldn't be too surprised to know that this was all started, I can't remember the exact details now, I'm sure it's all out there somewhere. I can give you some stuff to search for if I can't put it in links in the description. It was all started by a Swede, a gentleman from Sweden by the name of, I believe it's pronounced Kleis Tingvall. If I've got that wrong, I'll put the name at the bottom of the screen. Now, Claes Tingvall, if you look him up, is a statistician and an academic. Now, to me, that basically says he doesn't live in the real world with the rest of us. But hey-ho. Now, he decided that he wasn't going to accept people getting hurt and killed on the roads. So he was going to start this movement to get all fatalities and serious injuries eradicated, zero. Now, of course, we know that what Sweden's like when it comes to safety, particularly road safety. I mean, we all know about Volvos and Saabs being particularly safe cars. We all know that, I believe, the 3-point seatbelt was originally either developed or first used in Sweden. And, of course, the Swedes are well known for revenue-raising speed cameras. Oh, no, sorry, not revenue-raising speed cameras, safety cameras. Yes, safety. Because nobody would ever use things like that just to raise money from motorists, would they? So yes, this started off as a movement. It got accepted by the Swedish government many years ago as something they wanted to aim for. And of course, like anything like this, it's slowly spreading. It's now part of the EU philosophy. And I personally believe that the massive implementation of new road safety and other laws and recommendations that have been implemented over the last 6 months or so here in the UK are part of that as well. So what's that got to do with what I'm doing, you might say? Well, Mr. Tingvall is on record, getting very dramatic here, as saying that motorcycles, are incompatible with Vision Zero. Now, we all know that there's long been this argument put forth that for their proportion of the road-using population, there are more motorcyclists killed and injured than other road users. So I can't remember what the exact figures are. I'm sure they're available somewhere. But say motorcyclists are 10% of the road-going population, road-using population, we form something like, I don't know, 20-odd% of the serious injuries and fatalities. For obvious reasons. We don't have seatbelts, we don't have airbags, we don't have the best part of 2 tons of metal and plastic wrapped around us to protect us from impact, etc., etc. Now, as a motorcyclist, and as I'm sure most of you guys do, I realise that I am more vulnerable in the event of something going wrong. Obviously, that doesn't mean that I accept that if something goes wrong and I get seriously hurt, that it's partially my fault, because it's not. If I'm riding along and somebody pulls out of a side road in front of me, the usual Smidsy incident, and a collision occurs and I'm hurt, it's not my fault I'm hurt because I'm riding a motorcycle. It's the other vehicle's fault for pulling out in front of me for whatever reason. They didn't look, or they just weren't observant enough. That's of course assuming I'm not doing anything stupid like blasting past other traffic at the last second. Basically, good road protocol is you don't overtake at junctions anyway. So yes, I do realise that some motorcyclists ride as though they are absolutely invulnerable and invincible until something goes wrong and they find out they aren't. But like any other road user, even though I'm doing what I do for a hobby as a pastime because I like it, doesn't mean that I don't want to get home in one piece with my bike in one piece at the end of the day, go back to my family and continue with my life. Just because I ride a motorcycle does not mean I have a death wish. Now, I've heard it said by, I can't remember where it was now, I think it may have been something to do with advanced driving instruction or something like that, that accidents don't just happen, they're caused by something. Obviously, if you're walking through a wooded area and a branch snaps off a tree on a windy day and lands on you, yes, you could say, well, that's an accident. Nobody could have foreseen it. It was this act of God or whatever you want to refer to it as. But when we're talking about people driving heavy vehicles, and I classify ordinary cars in that because they're, as I say, best part of 2 tons, some of them, or even heavier, then it's incumbent on all of us to drive responsibly, or you can drive like an idiot like that. Obviously doesn't realise there's in a 30 limit, he or she. As I say, as long as I'm riding responsibly within the law, I should be entitled to all the same considerations for my safety as every other road user, and that includes pedestrians and cyclists. But what Mr. Tingvall wants to do, if his Vision Zero project is to advance to the conclusion he wants, is to remove all motorcycles from the road. And he has actually stated that. I'll actually put his quote on the screen now, what he actually said. Yes, it was a quote from, I think it was 2010, so it's quite a while ago, and obviously we're still riding around on motorcycles. But you have to remember that these zealots, these effectively what are tyrants, because they are going to get us to do what they want us to do, whether we agree with it or not. They play the long game. They're not going to implement these changes overnight, all at once. They're going to do it slowly, piecemeal. So we've already seen the changes in the motorcycle test and licensing in this country, which in my view is ridiculously overcomplicated. Some people may say, no, there's nothing to it, it's a piece of cake, which is, you know, that's you. If you understand it and you don't have any problem following what's required, then good. But obviously I passed my test when basically you had a provisional and then you had a full license, and when you had a provisional license you were only allowed to ride motorbikes up to 250cc. Hello doggy, it's a poopy. And then you took your test, and assuming you passed and got your full motorcycle license, you could ride pretty much whatever you wanted. So you can go from anything up to a 250cc to a 1000cc superbike. But as I say, this Vision Zero thing is very much behind the scenes. they're not doing this openly. They're not having large public forums where people like you and I can go along and question them, discuss with them, argue with them, tell them that while we agree that your aims are laudable, and very high-minded, very lofty ideals that yes, you don't like the idea of people being hurt and injured on the roads, but that's not the only place people are hurt and injured. People don't even have to leave their house to be hurt or injured. I think I saw something a while ago that said that most injuries coming into A&E, which is the UK equivalent of the ER in the UK, are from what's the matter with you? Are from domestic accidents. And also, it's the middle of the road, why don't you? Now that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. That driver could easily have collected me on that bend because they were right over the centre line. Now, would that have been my fault? I don't think so. But anyway, yeah, most accidents that people coming into hospital are in the home. So what are you going to do about that, Mr. Tingval? The thing is, all life is risk. So just because I choose to participate in an activity that could, probably would result in my injury if something were to go wrong, doesn't mean I'm being reckless or anything like that. But as I say, these people play the long game. They get governments on board, they get them to implement small changes over a period of time, or as we've seen recently with the stuff that's gone on in here in the UK, a whole load of changes within a short period of time. Thank you very much. So this does link back a little bit to a comment I made in my last vlog about celebrities and other people of public standing, shall we say, using their position to push causes and issues. It's not necessarily their support of the cause or issue that's the problem. It's how those people espousing that cause or issue go about promoting it and attempting to resolve it. You'll find that most of these zealots, like Mr. Tingval, don't care about my opinion or your opinion. They have this vision, literally, in their mind, and they are going to bring that vision to reality whether we want it or not. Now, obviously, they approach it from a point of view saying, well, it's for your own good, it's for your safety. If you argue against it, then you must not care about people's lives and the lives of their loved ones and friends, etc. Obviously the emotional manipulation, the emotional blackmail comes in very heavy. And this is also echoed in the fact that all the safety nannies are getting all uptight about the number of people that have been killed this last few days in the Isle of Man at the TT. Yes, it's desperately sad. Those people have lost their lives, their families have lost them. Absolutely tragic. But nobody forced them to do what they were doing. They were doing it because they wanted to, because they loved it. Because they chose to, and that's the operational word here, choice. People like Mr. Tingval don't want us to have choice in what we do in our lives. Because some of the things we choose have an element of risk attached, and he's not happy with that. So therefore, we're not going to be allowed to do it. But then that's the way most people like that operate. Where was I going to go? I was going to go down somewhere here. Oh well, never mind. Let's go down here. Oh, and by the way, Spicy, thank you for your vlog yesterday. I watched it yesterday. I don't know whether, I can't remember now when you put it up, but also you mentioned that I think you said you've broken the 100,000 subscribers. So many congratulations on that, sir. Very well done. Well deserved. Like I say, I'll put a link to Spice's video in the description. Shouldn't be any problem with doing that. Certainly worth going to take a look. And so my summary is to Spicy is probably yes, you are correct. You are not being a conspiracy theorist when you think that the government is trying to take our bikes. I believe the government is, and I don't mean just this government, I mean any government from this point forward, or from about the last 10 or 15 years going forward, wants to eradicate motorcycles from the public roads. Now how they're going to square that with the industries that have built up around motorbikes in this country, obviously Triumph are resurgent, Norton are trying to establish a comeback, Ariel are coming back into bikes, AJS, lots and lots of historic British brands are coming back. If the government does effectively ban motorcycles from the road, then I don't know where all those industries are going to go. Because don't think this is just Europe or UK. The this Vision Zero movement have got the whole world in their sights. It's funny how tyrants and dictators have that ambition, isn't it? Anyway, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the ride now. It's a beautiful day, beautiful countryside, and thank you for stopping by and taking a look, and I'll speak to you again soon. Cheerio for now. Bye. That's the second one that's threatened to be on my side of the road. Yeah.